Brennan and I are back for week 2. This week we're going to focus on running and just all the challenges that go with it.
Yep, so we run a good amount. We're not elite runners by any mean. I ran cross country in high school, so I have some experience from that. Davis and I have both run marathons. Davis has done some half Ironmans, and he's got a full Ironman coming up this week that we'll get into later.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So we just have some experience, and we'll share what helps us, and hopefully it helps the viewers at home, because running's great. It's great for the heart, great for the cardio, and it just feels good when you get a nice run going.
I'm with you. It's probably one of the hardest physical activities out there in terms of working out. I mean, everything will challenge you, but running in particular just really puts the body under stress.
Yeah, both mentally too. Right, that's a side people don't really talk about as much, but it builds your mental strength, and what I like to say is it calluses your mind. That's from David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. If you haven't read that, I recommend it. But it's all about doing tough things, because you'll just become stronger from the experiences. And he likes to say you callous your mind. And I've definitely seen that it's made an impact on my life. So, but Davis is a little different. Davis doesn't really believe in all that stuff. He just goes out and does it.
Yeah, I just go after it every day. And before we go full on into the running, we want to just talk about our key highlights from the week, because we're all about making progress. So, Brent, do you want to kick it off with what your big takeaways were?
Yeah, so after our last podcast talking about sleeping, I did a pretty good job. I woke up 4 out of the 7 days early. I slept in today, and then there was another day during the week where I had to sleep. I didn't have to, but I knew I should, because I know at work if I'm starting to nod off, then I need the extra sleep. And that was happening midweek, so I slept in 4 hours. I have 5 out of the 7 days actually I woke up early, which was good. We're trying to get to at least 6, but slowly building. Work went well, lifting weights, boxing. So it was a good, productive week for me. What about you, Davis?
That's awesome. My theme for the week was definitely preparation. Next week is going to be extremely big for me. On Wednesday, I've got a quarterly presentation where I'm going to share best practices on how clients can use the software application I work on. So we'll do a presentation a lot like this. They won't let me keep the camera on when we do it, because we want to focus on the screen, and we'll have clients from all over the world. But I'll pretty much do a demonstration and share slides that will help people complete their jobs and save a lot of time. So that should be really fun. And next weekend, as Brennan was saying, I'm going to attempt my first full Ironman triathlon. So it's going to be a doozy of a race, and I've been training really hard to prepare for it. Hopefully it goes well. But if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be fun. So I hope it really pushes me in every way, and we'll see if it can crush me or if I'll crush it.
Yeah, Davis, and just break down, because probably people don't know what an Ironman is. You want to break it down?
Yes. So Ironman consists of a swim, a bike, and a run. For this race, the swim will be about 2.5 miles. The bike is 112 miles. And then the run is a full marathon, so it's 26.2 miles. I've only done the half ones in the past, which is half of each of those distances, but I'm looking to crank it up, and we'll see if my body and my mind can handle it.
Do you have any, because next week we'll go more in depth with Davis's experience. Any predictions? Is there a certain time, or you just go in there to complete it?
No way. I just want to go in there and complete it. I've never done a challenge like this. I'm excited to give it a shot, and it should just be fun. If I can cross that finish line, I'll be about as happy as can be.
Yeah, Davis was saying he was wondering if this will be the first time he'll have to walk, just because he's going to be out there hours for hours. I mean, if you break 10 hours, that's pretty good. Davis will probably, I don't want to put a cap on when you're going to finish.
It could take a long time.
So we'll see. He's got to stay on top of his nutrition while he's in the race, just because it's so long. And our grandfather's going down with him, so that'll be fun.
It should be fun. Yeah, it's going to be a road trip, but I've got to stay focused, because we're going to hopefully crush the event. And after, we're going to go see DC and some of the Civil War battle sites around it. But more than anything, it's just going to be a great family time.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll get more into that next week. I'll ask Dave's questions, break it down, whatnot. But for this week, we're going to be talking about running. So just our backgrounds in running. As I mentioned earlier, I ran cross country in high school. We've always been good runners. I mean, dating way back, there was a middle school fitness test called the Pacer, where I don't know if most schools do it, but you run between, it's like suicides, but the timer goes beep, beep, and you got to make it to the other side in time. Davis set the school record in 8th grade. I think he did like 118 times.
Yeah, I think even 7th grade.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was just sprints back and forth across the gym, but it was really hard. I remember it would punish me after I'd be gassed.
Yeah, I never beat Davis's record. I think I got 114, and that was my
really
highest. But yeah, that was a huge thing back in middle school. Davis did some of those Hershey, Pennsylvania stuff back in like elementary school.
Yes.
And then Davis went to track in high school. I ran cross country. And
Brennan was a star in cross country. He was fast. In high school, I was not fast. Brennan could put up the times.
Yeah, I wasn't too fast, but I just didn't put the time and effort into it. I was putting maybe 50 miles max in the summer, which if you want to be good at running, the good kids are probably putting in close to 500 miles in the summer. And then when they're just light years ahead of me. I mean, my best time for 5K was 16:28, so it was still pretty fast. But
Way too fast.
I mean, you got kids out there running close to 5-minute miles consistently, and it's so hard to be consistent. But yeah, I mean, we're really focused on right now endurance compared to performance, which is a topic for a whole nother day because that's crazy. But today we're just talking about how to get into it because I ran cross country those 4 years, hated it. Did not like it. It's such a mental strain because in order to do well, you have to push yourself to this absolute limit where your body is telling you you have to quit. So then I didn't want no part of that. College, I did a little bit of running, and then this past May, our little brother Evan, who you'll probably meet on a later podcast, he's still in college, he got into it over quarantine. We all decided to run a marathon in May, and that was great. I only trained for about 3 weeks because it was right when I was graduating. But I was always in good running shape, but straight marathon training, I only did about 3 weeks. I was able to do 3 hours, 18 minutes, which was pretty good. Davis broke 3 hours. But yeah, Davis and I are two different style runners, I would say two. Davis is the guy that goes out, doesn't listen to music, runs around the track for 18 miles. Or I mean longer runs, I have to listen to music. And I don't mind running around the track just because there's no hills. But I guess my biggest tip for runners is just start doing it. Also get the right shoes, because that was the biggest thing when I was starting. I didn't have the right cushioning, and that can lead to injuries and then cause you not to want to do it consistently. But the key is to be consistent. So even if you can only do 200 meters, I mean, most people can do 200 meters even if you're going really slow. But just start slow, be consistent, and a runner's high is crazy. So that's what keeps you coming back, and the adrenaline.
Yes.
Be consistent, right shoes, and just start. Just start and do it. Even if you're doing it 3 times a week, it's better than no times. That's the thing I've taken away from a book, is that it's better to do less than you expected than to do nothing at all. So, I mean, start with small goals and slowly work your way up, and you'll be good. What about you, Dave?
I like running. I would say the biggest challenge of it is mental. You hinted at this earlier, but especially if you're training for some of these longer distance races, a marathon, you have to run a lot of miles. You probably have to run 1 hour or more pretty consistently throughout the week. So just try to go out there, enjoy it, and have fun. One good tip would be to do it first thing in the morning. I try, if there's a workout I have to do, right when I wake up and I have the most energy. Some days I'll say I really don't want to do it, but just to get out there and give it a shot, like Brennan's saying, even if you only go out and run for a few minutes when you want to run a lot longer, it's better than nothing, and it will build up. With time, just the human body adapts and you'll be able to run farther, faster, and especially early on, it's amazing how much a beginner can improve.
Yeah, definitely. I saw this in cross country. Kids would start off freshman year, not be great runners, and they would just be consistent. And by the time they were seniors, they were good runners on the varsity team. And even, I brought this up last week, a year ago. I mean, Davis has the genes for being a good runner, but he just wasn't in that type of running shape. Our brother and I smoked him in a 10-miler. And now Davis is just light years ahead because he's consistent. We were running a 20-miler a few weeks ago, and Davis was saying Cole Swindell on like mile 19 because he was just cruising. So it's being consistent, it's being disciplined, because a lot of people think, especially when they see Davis going out 20 milers, that it's so easy for him. But I mean, you can speak on it more. At least for me, it's not easier. It's just that we've conditioned our bodies to that level where we can do it. and you just got to do it when you don't want to do it.
I agree. There are days where we'll go out and we'll get physically sick on these runs, but you still just have to go at it, do your best. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. If you get tired, your body will usually recover. Whether it's 5, 10, 30 minutes or a couple hours, you can usually go back later in the day and just try to push it a little bit farther to get ready for the next time.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have to listen to music podcasts, definitely do it, but be safe. I wouldn't recommend if you're running on the street, don't have your earbuds in because the car could hit you. Davis, because everyone says, oh, why do you run around the track, Davis? Davis, you want to tell them why you run around the track?
Definitely. People will think I'm crazy because we will do long distance runs on the track. This week I did 18 miles on Wednesday, just lap and lap around the track. So it probably comes out to be about 70 miles, or 70 laps, give or take. Apologize right there. But you just have to think about why you're doing it. For us, it's always safety. If we have to start these runs early in the morning, a lot of times it's dark, and even if you do have proper lighting, you just don't know if the people are going to see you. Second, it's actually really good for keeping your body healthy because the running track surface is a lot softer than the pavement, so it won't do as much damage on your knees and ankles. Because if you talk to a lot of people who are in their 40s, 50s, even 60s, they'll say, I can't run anymore because all those joints have given out. And even when we're training, like Brent said, his foot hurt after he ran 20 miles on the pavement. I had a similar experience back in January that put me out of running for probably a month. And just little injuries like that, they'll prevent you from becoming consistent. You can avoid it even if it's just 1 or 2 track workouts, because it's better to just be safe, go back at the next day. Even if you do have to deal with some boredom, just come up with some happy thoughts and maybe think about what you're going to do as your next big thing.
Callous the mind.
Brennan loves it. He'll be reading all the time. Like you're saying, we have different motivations, I guess, and what gets us going. He loves to get fired up, read books about other people who have had success, where I haven't had as much time for reading. I'm still studying a lot of different finance topics, so I'm not reading as much for pleasure. But I say get out there, get after it, and have fun.
Yeah, and the biggest thing too is we're in the middle of our journeys as well. We're not perfect. We're learning on the way, and we're learning by talking, and we just want to just be fully transparent. We're not trying to make ourselves out like, oh, we're this, we're that. Well, we're learning too. We have those days where we sleep in, or at least I do. Davis,
I'm sleeping in tomorrow morning. I'm resting up.
Very rarely sleeps in or misses a workout, but I mean, I've slept in. No, you don't.
Every now and then.
No,
Some days.
Some days, yeah. No, but he's dialed in, and we're here, just learning, and we're still young. And running's been a great form of, I don't know, it's great for your mental health. It's like a reset kind of.
Oh, yes.
You go out, you think to yourself. I mean, I listen, if I'm going by myself for a longer run, like an hour to 2 hours, I'll listen to music. Davis never listens to music, which is, I think, crazy, but you want to elaborate why you don't listen to music? What do you think during runs?
I think
2 hours long?
Yeah, the biggest thing is safety, because
But if you're running around the track, you don't have to worry about cars.
You don't have to worry about cars.
And you're running by yourself for 2 hours.
You're running by yourself for 2 hours. I think the biggest thing is people, because one of the great things about running is you can run with other people. There's a very good community, and it's a great way to catch up, because if you are going out there running for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, you can have some really good conversations, and you can't get that if you're listening to headphones, and you might run by someone and they're on the other side of the street waving to you. So you never know what kind of misconnections you could have.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're not running with somebody, which you've done before, you've run by yourself for 2+ hours and not listen to music. What are you thinking?
I'm always just thinking about all different types of things. Just pretty much thinking as you normally would. I mean, throughout the day, if you're going on a long car ride, you're alone, you think about pretty much the same things.
Seriously, yeah.
You just try to relax, think about what's going on. And biggest thing is you never know also who you're going to run into on a run. I've had plenty where you'll be going out, you'll meet up with someone, maybe run a few miles, drop off, run a few miles with someone else. So it makes it a lot more fun when you're running with someone.
All right, so yeah, that's some takeaways. If you're starting off to run in a group, because that makes it easier. But the thing with that is you can't rely on that because everyone has their own schedules, and it's so hard to get people. You're gonna have to be your own. You're gonna have to run on your own eventually. You can't always run with people, but maybe to start off, because we tried to have a workout group, and eventually people go their own separate ways. That's just how it is. But I guess if you can build that foundation around people who help and motivate you, then definitely do that. But there's going to be a time when you're going to have to go out, run by yourself. But if you can just know how you'll feel after and the health benefits, then that can help you push through that run. And also, you don't want to sprint. Like if you don't have a lot of experience, people will go out and sprint a mile and then they'll gas themselves out. If you're going to go for a longer run, dial it back. Like Davis, probably like on his comfortable runs, and even you're going way slower than what you can, like your fastest pace, because you can't hold that for long. But you kind of find that happy medium. It takes experience. And also, if you have heart rate monitors, you can check. I saw something online where if you do 180 minus your age, that's where you want to stay below when you're doing a comfortable run. So, I mean, in cross country, a lot of times we would do 2 workouts a week, like a run and then a track workout, or a race and a track workout. And then the other days were just easy, comfortable runs. I don't know the science behind all that, but I mean, Nick Bear, he's a big dude. He's not an elite runner, but he says on the comfortable days, you got to dial it back to let your body recover. So don't gas yourself out. If you're new, go slower and then try to experiment where you are and then work off that. But you don't want to go out too fast.
Definitely. Yeah, and I know I'm trying to work on intervals. Brennan knows a lot more about running than I do, so he gave me the tip where sometimes you take it slower during the run so that then you can go faster and get your body used to just moving faster, get your muscles firing off, and get your heart rate up like he's talking about. So trying to incorporate some sports science and hitting our goals.
Yeah, some tempo runs, which is you go faster than what your comfortable pace is, but you're not going at your race pace. So your heart and your body's working, building up, whatever. I don't know the science behind it, but like let's say your comfortable pace is 7:30, then your tempo pace is probably going to be 6:30, where you're still able to do it, and you're breathing hard, but you're working, but you're not dying.
Yes, and just so everyone knows as well, when Brennan says 6:30, 7:30, he's talking about minutes and seconds per mile. So 6:30 would be a 6.5 minute per mile pace, while 7:30 would be a 7.5 minute per mile pace, because we know that also every now and then you'll see them quoted in kilometers. So those are whole different systems, just to get everyone on the same page.
Yeah, I would say, I don't really have any other tips for beginners other than get the right shoes. You can go to a Marathon Sports anywhere because they'll measure your foot and your foot striking to give you the right shoes. And that's huge, that's game changer. You don't really want to just buy something online without knowing which one fits right for your foot. And then just doing it, getting a group, and callousing the mind. Do you have anything else to say?
I'm with you. Give it a try. No matter how new you are, how experienced you are, you're always going to be scared to try something new. And you're always going to have those nerves. I know I've got nerves going into next weekend, but either way, we're just going to give it a shot, try our best. And yeah, unless you're willing to try and fail or succeed, you can't really know if you can accomplish something.
Yep. Quote that we like to say is, if you want something you've never had, you have to be willing to do something you've never done. So we'll leave you guys on that, or you all on that, and we'll come back next week. Probably will be filming on a Monday or Tuesday.
No, let's do it Sunday.
Are you going to be away though?
Yeah, I'll call it in though.
Oh, Davis will call in from where he's racing, and then we'll get the recap. And let us know if you have any questions in the comments, any questions about running and ideas you want us to talk about. And we'll see you next week. So.